Good afternoon, children. Have I got a treat for you today? We're going to do a story, and the book I've chosen is I'm Not So Cute. Here we go then. Baby Owl decided to explore the woods. Nobody will bother me, he thought. Then along came a rabbit.
What do you think you're doing?
I'll read the story.
No, not today, Dave.
No, it's my day.
Today is Wednesday.
Mr Garley said that I could do a
Mr
story.
Garley said
promised.
Friday. Is today Friday? No, today's Wednesday.
Is it not Wednesday?
It's Wednesday today, you're doing it on Friday. I'm doing Wednesday, you're doing Friday.
Okay.
So, hop it. Like hats.
Goodbye, children.
See ya. See you, Dave. See you on Friday. I don't know. What are we going to do with Mr Baldwin? Anyway, today's Mrs Underwood's turn. And Mrs Underwood thought about, well, Greek things really, because we're doing the ancient Greeks. And we're doing all things mythical. And one of my particular favourites is in this book here, The Adventures of Odysseus, beautiful illustrations. It's a very, 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 very old story, but with a modern twist. So the story that we're going to look at, children, today is the Cyclops. And you may have heard of such a creature. Somebody's interpretation of what a Cyclops might look like is that. Woo! Oh, not very pleasant. But anyway, that's only one person's visual Cyclops. You might have a different idea. The Cyclops. Okay, for many days we sailed until we reached an island that seemed to us a paradise. We saw land, level for the plough. There were fat sheep and goats grazing. We decided to stop and take on fresh meat and water. So we beached the ship and I told 12 of my men to take from the treasures of Troy some precious thing, a bracelet or a brooch, in the hope that we would find people with whom we could barter. I took a goat skin of a very strong wine. 1 cupful poured into a barrel of water would make a potent potion. We followed a path from the beach to a hill. In the hill there was a cave, and beside that cave was a boulder that looked as though it had been placed there for some purpose. Perhaps this cave was a home for something, someone. Sure enough, when we went inside, we found enclosures with fences that held lambs and kids. We found buckets of cheese and milk. Whose home was this? We squatted by a fire and munched on some cheese, drank some milk, sat back and waited. Eventually we heard bleating. A great flock of animals was approaching. Something, perhaps some strange premonition, made me instruct my men to hide in the darkest part of the cave. A huge herd of sheep and goats entered and gathered near their young. Then, behind them, we saw a silhouette in the cave mouth. It seemed the shape of a man, but this was bigger than any man we'd ever seen. It was the size of a tall tree. It lumbered in, grabbed the boulder and rolled it into the entrance. That meant the only light now came from the fire. By the light of the flames, we watched the giant milking the female sheep and goats with surprising tenderness and obvious affection. We studied its tusk-like teeth and its snout of a nose. And in the middle of its forehead, there was one enormous eye. Oh, and here's another similar but slightly different illustration of what a Cyclops might look like. By the light of the fire, he must have seen our shadows on the wall behind us. He said, What's this? I have guests, little two-eyed things. We stepped forward. We are men. We have here precious treasures. We want to swap them with you for meat and fresh water. Father God Zeus rewards those who are kind to travellers. Zeus, don't you know what I am? I am a Cyclops. We Cyclops are the sons of the sea god Poseidon. We have no fear of your blustering Zeus. Then the Cyclops grabbed one of my men and smacked his head against the roof of the cave. His brains splattered all over the walls and all over the floor, and he crammed the corpse into his mouth. We were horrified. Before he could devour another of my men, I took up the skin of strong wine. We little two-eyes have made something that you one-eyes have not. It is a drink, and it makes you happy. And if I give it to you, would you give me a gift in return? Give me your gift, and I will give you an answer. I threw the wineskin to his feet. He picked it up, took the stopper from it, and emptied it in one long gulp, and then threw it to the ground. What is your name? He asked. My name? Oh, well, my name is Nobody. Well then, Nobody, I thank you for your gift. It tasted good, and in return I will give you something precious, a little more life. I promise you that you will be the last one that I eat. He grabbed another of the men and bit off his head. As the Cyclops chewed, his cheeks reddened, his great eyelids met. He put out his hand to steady himself. The wine was beginning to take effect. Soon he lay on the ground, his cheek against the sand, his eyes shut, his mouth open, dripping with blood and wine. One of my crew drew his sword and stepped forward, intending to plunge the blade through the Cyclops' skin and kill him as he slept. I had to restrain him. The Cyclops was our only means of escape. All of us together weren't strong enough to push the rock from the cave mouth. We were trapped until this brute freed us. All night we searched the cave. We found the trunk of an olive tree that the Cyclops was trying to use for a shepherd's crook. We drew our swords and whittled away at it until we got it to a sharp point. Then we put that point into the fire until it glowed red hot. We lifted the tree trunk onto our shoulders and, urging each other on, we ran forward and plunged the point of this huge stick into the Cyclops' eye. Steam rose up around the wood, and the Cyclops gave an awful yell. He reared up and pulled the wood from his head with a sucking sound. The scream summoned other Cyclopses from nearby caves, and we could hear them shouting through the boulder. Polyphemus! Polyphemus, what's the matter? I've been blinded. Who has blinded you? Came the response. Nobody! Nobody has blinded me. Well, if nobody has blinded you, then there's nothing we can do to help you. It must be a punishment from the immortals. Pray to them and your sight will be restored to you. And so the other Cyclops went back to their caves and their slumbers. Now, I'm going to leave it there, and if you want to know what happens to Odysseus, his men and the Cyclops, you will have to tune in next week. Bye-bye for now.